Chris, what is our final main topic today?
So lastly, we're hearing from Michael. To most fans' relief, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 situation seems to be resolved with Gunn being reinstated as the director. With the impending Phase 4 announcement on the horizon, Marvel will have to address the upcoming film during the presentation. My question is, how does Marvel introduce Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 during this event, steering the conversation away from the project's past drama and begin promoting this film in a positive light?
Yeah, well, first of all, Michael, Disney doesn't have to address Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at the panel. Now, we know of at least 4 MCU films that are already at a various stage of pre-production. And well, one is in production. We got the Black Widow movie is in production. We know Eternals, they're getting ready to go into production on that. We already know they got Shang-Chi coming. We already know, we talked about the other day that Kevin Feige has already announced that they've already begun writing on Black Panther 2, and they've already brought back on the director for Doctor Strange 2. There's 5 films right there. So I'm going to tell you right now, there is definitely a chance that they don't even mention Guardians of the Galaxy 3. James Gunn is working on another movie right now for DC. He's making Suicide Squad 2 right now. He's got to get through all that before he can sit down and get going. Now, he already wrote his script for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 before he got shit-canned last year, but that's another story altogether. But let's indulge the theoretical here for just a second. The big chat, there are 2 big stories last year at Comic-Con. One was the announcement from Warner Brothers that they had greenlit. It's all done. It's happening. Joaquin Phoenix is going to be the Joker. That was the talk of Comic-Con. The other thing that was unfortunately the big topic of conversation at Comic-Con was Disney had fired James Gunn. So we're not going to go into that whole thing again, but that was the big thing. Of course, we all now know there was the big the outcry from the cast of his movies, Dave Bautista particularly. All the cast signed letters to Disney saying bring James Gunn back and blah, blah, blah. And then ultimately they did. They worked it out. Alan Horn, James Gunn worked it out, and James Gunn is back. He's going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't think we're going to see James, you guys. I don't think we're going to see him at Comic-Con. I don't think we're going to see him on stage. Because I think Disney right now, Disney is masterful at controlling the narrative. And what they want the narrative to be at Comic-Con, especially because Warner Brothers isn't going to be there talking about DC, they've got the stage all to themselves. I believe they're going to want the spotlight to firmly be on these upcoming big films they're very proud of. They want the people to be talking about Black Widow. They want the people to be talking about Eternals. They've got a lot of educating to do with the audience with movies like Eternals that a lot of people don't know anything about at all. I don't think they're going to want to have the whole controversy of James Gunn brought back up again. That being said, it would be great if they did. Now, don't address what happened last year. Don't do anything. But I guarantee you the biggest pop that you will get at Comic-Con this year, unless they bring out Ryan Reynolds in a Deadpool suit dressed like Steve Jobs, that would clearly be the bigger one. But aside from that, the biggest pop you're going to get from the audience and the crowd at Comic-Con is if, you know, Kevin Feige pulls and one more thing. We got another film coming out. You guys might have heard about this. We start working on it in a couple of years. And to talk about this, I want to introduce you guys to James Gunn. I guarantee you it'll be the biggest ovation they get. It'll be the absolute biggest ovation they get. And it would kind of put to bed, I get the idea they don't want to rehash the controversy from last year, but to me it would be a way to put it all to bed, that the family is back together again. They bring him out and they talk about that. And I think on that level, it would be something that would be a highlight. It would be the final, removing of the stitches and the wounds are completely healed, all that kind of stuff. I think it would be a great moment. But again, I just don't think it's something they're actually going to do. I think they're going to be more cautious about it. And like I said, they've got a world of other things to talk about. Aaron, I guess there's 2 ways to ask the question. Number one, do you think they will bring out James Gunn onto a Comic-Con Hall H panel on stage? And do you think they should bring him out? And those are really 2 very big different questions here, but how do you see it?
I see Disney as a waspy New England family. If you don't talk about it, it didn't happen. And so I would be surprised, although I love what you're saying, and maybe someone from Disney is watching this and would go, hey, that's a great idea John Campea had. And that would happen. But I kind of, you're right, they have so many other exciting things going on. Why would you drudge up the conversation and shift the focus away from things that are happening in the next 5 minutes to, you know, we have a lot of Comic-Cons before Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out.
That's
again.
true.
Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of time for James Gunn to make his re-entry into the world. He's very busy. He's doing his own thing. I think that they're just going to let things heal for a minute and then have him come out again, make his grand entrance in another Comic-Con. I don't think this is the year for it.
I like what you just said. There's a lot of other Comic-Cons between now and when Guardians 3, and that's a great point. Chris, what do you think about that? Will they bring him out, and should they bring him out?
I don't think they will, and I think it's really easy to not bring him out. Those of you who watched the final season of Jessica Jones, when Trish Walker is coaching her on how to do an interview, you say, that's an interesting question. You redirect to what you want to talk about, right? And Disney's so good at that. So they're going to be able to make this work on their panel. I think one of the best things they could do, and what I selfishly want them to do, I know they said they're not going to do as Guardians of the Galaxy for real, but rebrand and do as Guardians of the Galaxy for real. Give us something else to shift our focus to. Give us Angela to talk about, you know? Give us that great Neil Gaiman McFarlane character so we have so much other stuff that we can start speculating about that we don't even care about the James Gunn drama. You know, interesting people talk about concepts, shallow people talk about people. So give us something interesting to talk about.
Okay, well, listen, guys, the question then we put back to you. The James Gunn situation with the upcoming Comic-Con. Number one, do you think they will, because these are two separate questions, do you think they will bring him out? And do you think they should bring him out? I'm kind of thinking they won't, but they should. We all have different opinions on it. What do you guys think? Jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.